Hello, my name is Pastor Becky, and today is the 29th of January, 2021. And this morning, during my time with the Lord, every morning I spend time just listening to God and being in His presence. He gave me a mighty word for this time and this generation. And I just wanted to encourage the body of Christ, is what the Lord spoke to me. So I'm just going to kind of go through my encounter with the Lord, and hopefully this will encourage you and build you up today. So it started out, I always picture myself in the throne room of God. And so here I was entering the throne room of God, and I come up to the Lord and I bow before Him and I take off my crown and lay it before the Lord. And I come to Him just as I am, no titles, no nothing, just a child of God. And He's there and He welcomes me into His throne room. And as I walk up to God's throne room, I'm dressed in this most elegant royal dress. And I come up to the throne room, come up to Him, approach Him in the throne, and He says, "How is the battle going?" And I look at the Lord and I feel Him. I'm saying, "God, it's so dark. It's so dark in the world right now. The church is weak." And He looks at me and He says, "I know, but do not worry, for reinforcements are coming." And I say, "Yes, Lord, thank you." I said, "Lord, there's so much satanic worship going on. So many innocent children's lives are being shed or damaged." And He said, "I know." And then He turned and we looked, and there was a sea of blood, a sea of blood. And He says, "Their blood cries out from the grave." And the Lord turned to me and said, "Vengeance is mine. Reinforcements are coming." And I looked at the Lord and I said, "Lord, what do you want me to do?" And He said, "Go back, continue encouraging and equipping the saints, for reinforcements is coming." He said that to me 3 times. Reinforcements are coming. And He said, "Go back, equip this church, equip the people, equip the army of God." He was telling me, it was so encouraging. And I looked to the Lord, I said, "Daddy, before I leave, can you look at my armor? Is my armor damaged? Am I wounded?" And all of a sudden I was in this beautiful dress and it switched to like the armor of God. And He takes off my breastplate and He reveals a wound like on the side of me, and it's just healed. It melts away. And He looks at my breastplate and He says, "Oh, daughter, I can see the enemy has been attacking you. Your breastplate is wearing thin. Let me reinforce it." He says that word again, reinforce it. And I was telling Him about some issues I've had in my back. And He took His hand and He lays it on my shoulder and He says, "That should do." Like as His hand was healing my back. And He hands me back my armor and He says, "Here, it's all fixed." And as I put the armor back on, it was like this transformation. I put the armor on and whoop, I was back in my royal gown, and just representing how we wear our armor all the time, even when it's not visible. It was so cool. Okay, so then after that, I make sure I look. After that, I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave the throne room, and I just said, "Father," said, "is there any word you want me to share to encourage the body of Christ, the bride of Christ?" And all of a sudden we turn and we look, and we look like at a map of the world, but the map is now transformed into like a wedding dress, because we talked about the bride of Christ, and all the continents are kind of all rearranged as a wedding dress. It's kind of hard to tell you what it looked like. But as I looked at the wedding dress, there were some spots that were white, bright white, shining, almost like stars in the sky, just shining all over. And then there were parts that were dark, just like in the night sky. There's bright shining lights, and then there's darkness. There's gray areas in the dress. And then there were areas in the dress where there's just like smoke smoldering up from it. And the Lord just showed me, He's like, there are some, and it was all over the dress. There's different areas: United States, China, Africa, South America, Australia, the Middle East, Europe, that had bright shining stars all over it. Okay? And then He says, that's the church that's on fire for me. They're ablaze, bright. They're bright, shining so bright. They're a white fire, on fire for me. So there are areas in our church and the body of Christ that are on fire and passionate for God. He says there are the gray areas. These are the weak church that are barely alive, the areas that are smoldering. Those are areas where there once was life. The only thing that's left is the smoldering smoke from the ashes. And then there's dark places that are in utter despair. And as I looked at that dress, the map, God says, but don't worry, reinforcements are coming. Fourth time he said that to me. And all of a sudden, it was like a domino effect. The dress just started from one end to the other and it turned white. It was like this domino effect of white across the whole thing. And he said, the harvest, the fields are white, ready for harvest. And then we transitioned back into the throne room. And then before I left, I'm like, okay, I can build up the body of Christ with that. Before I left the throne room, God says, go equip my body for the harvest is coming. And then he says, but I have a gift to give you. And he hands me a walkie-talkie. It's such a strange thing, but it was a walkie-talkie. He says, you've been promoted to a new level of communication. Keep this on at all times and listen for my voice. And then I thanked the Lord. I stepped down from the throne, put my crown on, and that was the end of my vision. And I just felt so strong. I had to write it out. So that's what I did. As soon as I was done, I wrote everything out. And then I felt like the Lord saying, you need to share this with the body. Encourage them today that reinforcements are coming. Reinforcements are coming and that God is on the move. God is hearing the cries, our cries. I mean, just seeing that sea of blood broke my heart, but it reminded me that God has not forsaken us and he has not forsaken those children's. Vengeance is his. Our job is to continue building ourselves up, getting into the throne room, hearing God, becoming the army of Christ, feeding his children, breaking chains, setting captives free. Let's build up an army so when the reinforcements come, we partner with that army. All right, I hope that encourages you. I hope it blesses you. Comment below any thoughts or any visions you've had of the Lord lately. See you next time.